and welcome to the Feel Your Joy Show, here for your enjoyment. I am so honored to be doing my first documentary on my beloved country, Liberia. As you all may know, July 26th marks the Independence Day of the Republic of Liberia. Liberia owes an establishment to the American colonization in 1816, where free slaves from America came to Liberia. So for this documentary, you have to stay tuned because you're going to be hearing some personal stories about the Civil War, views on Liberia, and of course, the history of our country. So stay tuned and enjoy this documentary. Once again, happy July 26th. The next interview is with a lovely young girl who is doing great things in the community. She's so passionate about our country, Liberia. This interview, you're going to hear her talk about her experience during the Civil War, even though she was just a weeny baby. Take a look. We have our next guest, the gorgeous, the beautiful, young Liberian girl, Mina Warner. Mina is so passionate about her country, and she is very
proud to be from Liberia. I love my country so much.
Awesome. Well, Mina, thank you so much for having this interview with me. By the way, you look so pretty. The girl's in her red skirt, her white shirt, representing our color. Where's your blue? Oh, there we go. We have the blue nails. Gorgeous. Let me see the nails. Ooh, gorgeous. I love it. So she's pretty much decked out in her red, white, and blue, representing the country, like she said, she's proud of. So take me back to Liberia in your childhood. How was your childhood like?
My childhood was really nice, actually. Before the war even started, we lived in a 2-story white house with a gated fence, and we had a houseboy. We all had maids, servants, and whatnot. The whole 9 yards.
Wait, Mina, let me take you back. So you had a 2-story house in Liberia, right? And you said you had maids? Wow, so what did your parents do to even have a house like that in Liberia?
Well, at the time I think I was too young to know, but I think they were probably involved with the government and like important jobs in the government.
They're making ching. All right, so you pretty much had a great life. What high school or elementary school did you go to?
I don't remember the name, but I know it was a private school and we wore uniforms and they were really strict and they beat us because we were really bad.
With the right hand, huh?
Yes. They told us to go outside and prick a branch when they were ready to beat us.
What? So which branch did you pick? Did you pick the tiny weak one, or did you like, I'm strong, I'm gonna pick the hard one? Which one did you pick?
Well, of course I picked the small one, but the teacher went back out the big one.
She's like, that's not good enough. Let me get you the real right hand.
Exactly.
So you said the school was strict. Did you have to braid your hair? Did you have to cut your hair short?
No. Well, we basically have to have our hair done the majority of the time. It has to either be braided up, or braided back. But
so no style. So one way, braid it up. I used to hate that style because for me, I have a big circle head and then I also have a big forehead. So one way was one of the worst hairstyles that I hated. You don't like it either, huh?
I hated it.
Oh, I'm like, can you just put my hair down and put some two strings to the side? I just hated one way. All right, so Mina, so how old were you during the war?
I was 4, going on 5, and I could remember the day precisely that when we started hearing the gunshots, and my grandmother really got scared. Our gate boy was told to keep the gate closed at all times and not open it at all. All of our maids and stuff, like, they hid us, but by the time the rebels could catch up to our house, like, they told us that we needed to get out right away and start running.
So you literally like ran outside of your house?
Literally.
You're 4 going on 5, like how was that? Were you like chasing, holding your mom's hand, or everybody was for themselves? Was anyone protecting you from the war or when you guys were escaping? Like how was that? Tell me, bring me back to that day.
Well, my grandma is a very overprotective person. That is my heart and my soul. And she protected me by like putting me on her back. I remember precisely that I was on my grandmother's back the majority of the time, from Liberia to our refugee camp that we ended up staying for, I want to say, 6 months at that, and that was so horrible because when you're coming from a life of luxury where water running everything,
have maids and house boys, 6-bedroom house, 2 stories,
to having to go fetch water and boil it and figure out your own fire to be able to heat up your own water and like find your own food and whatnot. So it was horrible.
Was this refugee camp in Ghana? Are you talking about the Butabrum camp? Is that the one?
Yes, the one in Ghana.
Okay, so you guys escaped from Liberia to the Butabrum camp. How was the lifestyle in the Butabrum camp? I have heard so many different stories. How was the lifestyle for you? Well, actually, you just mentioned and you said it was completely different from what you were used to. All right, so how did you guys come to America then?
Well, we came to America based on the fact that my mom was already here, and she was like, I'm not having it. My kids are not staying there. So she, I don't know how she hustled, but she found a way to send for my sister and I to come to America. I want to say, I think it was November 2000.
All right, so let's go back to the war. Do you remember how the rebel looked like or appeared to you?
Well, my grandma sheltered me from it, but I want to say they just, well, I can hear them, but I can't really see them. And when I heard them, they sounded so like not human. The things that they said, I don't know.
Do you remember vaguely of what they said? I know it's been a long time, and you're obviously very, very young, but.
Well, when they asked, I remember the questions that they asked when they're ready to kill someone or chop off a limb. I would remember, do you want short sleeve or long sleeve?
So tell the camera more about what short sleeve and long sleeve means. Let them know what that is in case for people who are not from Liberia.
Short sleeve and long sleeve means, do you want them to chop off half of your arm?
And that's the short sleeve?
Or your whole arm.
And that's the long sleeve. Wow. At 4 years old, she remember the rebels asking, do you want short sleeve or long sleeve? Wow, I'm so surprised, well not surprised, I'm so proud that you're still in one piece, still remembering something such as horrible as that. Did you witness any death during the war? Your grandma sheltered you?
My grandma did shelter me, but as we were running, I did see dead bodies on the ground, but it did traumatize me for a while. I did have nightmares, but it went away as time went by though.
Right, look at her. I'm so proud of you, Mina. So let's go back to the Ebola crisis. I'm pretty sure you're already in the United States. You heard about what was going back home. How did you feel about that?
Honestly, I felt like America could have done better to help with the Ebola crisis. Everybody could have done better to help with the Ebola crisis. I myself was really eager to go visit because I have not been back in 16 years, and I really wanted to go at that time, but when that sparked up, I couldn't really plan my trip well to go back. So, and right now I still have fear that it is still around in Liberia, and I just want to wait until it actually clears up completely.
Right. Did you know anyone that was affected by the Ebola? Anyone personally, anyone in your family?
No, not that I know of. My family is very cautious. Nobody in my family passed from Ebola, but I did have some friends who had some family members that passed from Ebola.
So did you do anything, did you volunteer to, send medical supplies back home? What was your involvement during the Ebola crisis while you were here in the United States? Did you do anything to get involved?
Well, back to my grandmother.
Hey, shout out to her grandma. What's your grandma name? Let's shout her out right now.
Zanje Zokia, shout out to you.
You know who you are.
But no, she actually has been collecting items in the United States since she landed here, and she would send them back to Africa in bulks, in big boxes, 6 barrels, 4 boxes, huge boxes that are my size, and send them to Africa to either give away and then to her village that she grew up in, or just to give back.
That's so cool. That's how my grandma was too. It's funny, I don't know if that's a grandma thing, but my grandma at her house, she housed 7-8 barrels in her garage full of clothes, used clothes, supplies just to send back home. So I think that's grandmas. Grandmas are so giving, so sweet, so caring. I think that's us Liberian grandmas. That's awesome.
I think
all right. So what do you see for our future in Liberia? Do you think the country has improved in terms of the war, civil war, the people, things the infrastructures, etc.?
Well, right now, we are in the making of rebuilding our country, but it's gonna take a while. I know that from what I've heard and what I read on social media and stuff, The country still needs a lot of work done, like a lot. We barely have libraries, so like we need to build more of those. But people like me who come to America to get the education, I'm going to go back to rebuild my country. So I see Liberia growing because of my generation.
Nice. So you're going to go back to rebuild your country. What are the processes you're taking now to go back to rebuild your country? It's a tough one.
I'm in college. That's my first step. Education is key. Education
Absolutely.
is money.
Yes.
I want to become a neonatologist and help all the babies because that's our generation. That's our next generation.
Absolutely.
If the kids die out, who's to say who's going to be Liberian in the next 20 years? So I'm taking the steps to becoming a neonatologist so I can go back and help with medical supplies and everything that they need medically in Liberia. And I will probably make some connections in my process to help Liberia, business-wise, financially, other things.
Great. Those sounds like amazing plan, and I'm so proud of you. I can't wait for the future to see all the things you say you will accomplish. Mina, thank you so much. You're looking beautiful. You have such a great story to share. And I'm pretty sure young girls your age will definitely be inspired by this interview. Thank you, Mina. Not only did I have the privilege of interviewing my guests, but I also got to hear their point of views. And this is what they had to say.
My mama, Liberia, I can't wait to be reunited with you again. I miss your authentic food, your culture, your beautiful views. But until then, I will do my best to get the education that I need to be able to give back to you. I want to become a neonatologist so that I can go back to Liberia and give back to the kids because they are our future. They are the future. The education system must be improved as well because that is our future. That is our money as well. So I ask that Liberians please come together as one to make Liberia the great place that it needs to be and that it once was. Happy Independence Day, Mama Liberia. I love you.
And that's it. I hope you had a wonderful time watching the July 26th documentary. Once again, happy Independence Day to all my fellow Liberians and friends of Liberia all around the globe. As we gather to celebrate the 169 years anniversary of our homeland, let us not forget who we are and where we come from. Let us remind ourselves that though we may be from many tribes, we're still one nation. Our Liberian people are proud, resourceful, patriotic, despite all the hardship and horror of the Civil War. We continue to rise and put our nation first. The future holds nothing but possibilities if we just work together for the common good of Liberia. Long live the Republic of Liberia and long live the Liberian people. Happy July 26th. My 26th on you all.